Hello, welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. New week, new day, it's Monday. That means we're moving into a new theme. This week's theme is favorite live performances. We're going to be starting off this week with a band that we have checked out before, as well as a drummer who we've seen even more times aside from that. We're checking out Porcupine Tree today. The song is Buying New Soul. This was filmed at Park West, Chicago in October of 2005. So let's see what's going on with these guys. Yeah, I like that really wide delay. Really creates a lot of ambiance there with just a couple of notes. And of course, being a live show, the audience, they know it's coming up. The fans do, at least anyways. Yeah, I like so how on the first part of the repetition we get that offbeat, the end of two being emphasized there. Yeah, and every other bar we get a downbeat on three emphasized. A little bit of variation that provides some nuance to an otherwise repetitive melody line. And it's interesting we didn't keep that. We're still emphasizing 1 and 3 here. We aren't getting that offbeat on the first time through.
Should've sold out when the devil came for me. Dig a hole and throw it out to sea. Break the code, how happy I would be. I still wave at the dots on the shore. I still beat my head against the wall. I still rage and wage my little war. I'm a shade and easy to ignore.
Yeah, really nice melding of lyrical thematic elements with the overall atmosphere of this track. Both are very mellow and they're pairing together very nicely.
And I had a big idea. Buy a new soul at the start of every year. Paid up and it cost me pretty dear. Here's a hymn to those that disappear. I still wave at the dots on the shore. I still
Yeah, I love those little embellishments with his extra symbols, the ones that really give the color outside of your typical hi-hat ride splash. Ooh, those double bass kicks. I think they're foreshadowing an amplification coming up. Yeah, very expressive.
I still
Yeah, super expressive guitar solo. I really enjoyed that.
I still beat my head against the wall. I still rage and wage my little war.
So there's some
It's easy to ignore.
pretty cool polyrhythm going on there within the drums. Maybe not actually. We've shifted into a 3-bar phrase or a 4-bar 3/4. I'm not sure when they snuck that in, but that time signature change was well placed, well hidden. So yeah, was not expecting that at all, given what we've heard before from Porcupine Tree. Unless I'm getting them confused with different bands, which I suppose is possible. We've listened to a few of them. It's difficult for me to keep them all straight. But yeah, very muted, very standard. The song composition was intro, A B A B C B, verse chorus, bridge chorus. Um, just a drastic departure from what I was expecting. Now, with that said, there's still some really cool things in here that I think elevate the song beyond the standard elements, I guess you could say, in the composition itself. Even though it does go for a fairly normal, soft rock, ballad-esque kind of style of sound and utilizing a very standard song composition. I think the song still elevates a little bit because of some minor things that they put in. There's a lot of little ideas of embellishment, just kind of dropping some neat little ideas here and there. A lot of it was in the piano and the drums. I think they really carried a lot of this idea of ornamentation. The drummer was constantly putting in unique little, cymbal sounds. He had a massive kit, very much larger than a standard. Was it 7-8 piece kit? And he was allowed a lot of variety in the sounds that he was creating and adding to the band, to the sound. So every once in a while, he would start using some of those more colorful cymbals. He also introduced some rhythmic ideas that I think I appreciate them on the basis that they spiced up the song a little bit, especially on sections that we had heard before. However, I find that they didn't exactly fit, particularly in the bridge. We entered into the guitar solo, and the whole band started to amp up, and the drummer started to amp up, and started tossing in some pretty nice bass kicks, even moving into some 16th note bass kicks for a lot of rhythmic syncopation that we had not heard at all throughout the rest of the track. And it really felt like it was ramping up towards this third section, or I guess a fourth section, a D. If A is the verse, B is the chorus, and C is the bridge, then D would be this next portion. And I thought we were going to enter into sort of some proggy territory where we didn't necessarily finish out the song in a traditional pattern. And instead of returning to a final chorus, maybe we pushed into a D and then an E and an outro, maybe. And unfortunately, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately. This is one of those situations where I was expecting something totally different and not meeting the song on its own terms. I was in the wrong headspace for it because I was just expecting something completely different. My expectations were not on par for what I was being delivered. Um, and sometimes that happens given the format of reactions. I come into these without any prior knowledge, so for better or worse. In retrospect, it is possible that the drummer was just ramping up intensity with the rest of the band and not foreshadowing a transition into something a little heavier. And maybe if I knew the story that was going on in the lyrics, I could have foreseen a return back to hitting more of a normal road where the chorus sits. If the verse is the quietest section and the bridge was the loudest, the chorus sits right there in the middle. So it's I'm kind of seeing it in that light now, and I guess it works, but it really feels like he starts to introduce some harder rock elements. And to me, I don't know, I still feel like there's a bit of foreshadowing there that didn't get delivered on. So, I don't know, a little bit of a Chekhov's gun situation. I saw these nice bass kicks. I really wanted them to be utilized in a setting that fit more with it. And that put me in a point of expectation, especially knowing some of their other works. And it just didn't go in that direction. So I felt a little disheartened, I suppose, disappointed that something was alluded to and then never approached upon. But like I said, that goes into headspace and expectations and stuff like that. I'm sure on a second listen, maybe that middle section just hits a lot harder for me, knowing that it's going to come back down. Um, like I said, that's just something that happens sometimes with these reactions. But I want to get away from that. It did color some of my first experience, but it's not the whole song. So let's move on to some other nice things. The opening section I really loved. We had a really nice wide reverb that created this really eerie atmosphere that the keyboardist was allowed to play over, and I thought it was a really interesting choice to leave that background atmosphere. It was almost like a pitchy whine by the time the intro was over and we were going into the first verse. And it was interesting to leave that. It was kind of a tense atmosphere that gave way to a little more beautiful, a little less tense guitar chord progression, I suppose, going into the intro of the song proper, the first part of the song that really matches the rest of what was going on. And I thought it like I said, it added a bit of tension and a bit of mysteriousness, some intrigue that wasn't really replicated throughout the rest of the song. So I don't think that's a questionable choice. I think it's an interesting one. It makes me feel like the song is dealing with some complicated ideas or complicated emotions, and there isn't really one right way to portray it, so you portray it as complex as you feel fits. So having that little bit of eeriness in there at the beginning is a way to inject a little bit of uncertainty into the themes of the music itself. So I really like that. I don't know how that lines up with the themes and the lyrics or what the song is about, but musically, I like it. It's just this little bit at the beginning. It's like, huh, I wonder what that was about, and it just kind of sticks in your mind the whole time, trying to place it and you can't. And it's like when you see a little detail that you don't think should fit, and you're like, whoa, that doesn't make any sense. And it's so small, so minute, but you just can't shake it for the rest of the day. You dream about it. The next day, you still think about it. Like, how did that happen? Why did that happen? That was so bizarre. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's this bizarre oddity that really stuck with me, and I really enjoyed the complexity that it added to the overall thematic experience of the song. I think this is a song, though, as I've mentioned many times before, the song really gives a lot of room and to spotlight the vocals. It also uses a relatively muted song composition, kind of flattens it all out into a couple of simple sections, your A B A B C B I D idea, that allows the vocals to shine, which makes me think, especially since the vocals were emotive but not overpowering. It's not like a pop song where your vocalist is doing a ton of runs or really high pitches or anything like that that draws attention to it. But the fact that the vocals seem to be very emotive and lining up emotionally with some of the thematic ideas happening in the music as well, it makes me think that the lyrics are front and center for this song. And unfortunately, like I've said before, I'm not a poetic analyzer, and on a first time listen, I'm really going to dig into the music first, usually at the detriment of the lyrics. So, yeah, I feel like I'm missing a little bit there just because it does feel like the lyrics are the spotlight. But it does leave me intrigued. It makes me want to check it out again, and it makes me want to return to some of the older Porcupine Tree songs we've checked out because, like I said, this was just way out of left field. I was not expecting anything like this from these folk, and either I completely misremember what Porcupine Tree does, what their style is, or this is a very different sort of idea for them. But those are my thoughts on Porcupine Tree's Buying New Soul. This is where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not. Let me know if I was wrong. If you disagree, maybe you have some context to help me understand some of the things, especially lyrical content or overall themes of the song. Those things really help me understand what's going on musically. When you're done with that, you can head up to the description box. There's a link in there for Linktree, and it has everything for stuff adjacent to the channel, such as the Discord server, the Twitter, the Patreon, all of it's there. When you're done, you can like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with another live performance that somebody, and actually a lot of people, seeing as it got second place in the polls, adore. Some of their favorite live performances. All right, well, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.